Minnesota Monthly Magazine, right, Polly?
Hey.
Yeah.
You sure there wasn't massive fraud? I thought I saw you out there dumping ballots.
We have a team of lawyers, the St. Paul Yoga Center team of lawyers, working on this right now as we speak.
To hire Rudy?
You know, I heard he's taken.
Yeah.
Taken with
He's
what?
been taken by something, I don't know what. He's possessed, I think he's possessed, yeah.
Yes. No.
I need to ask him what kind of hair dye he uses. I don't use it. Melts on your face, not in your hands.
Yeah. Come on, everybody has to contribute something stupid. Come on, let's go. I don't know. I'll do that for all of you. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So Paul, how much money have you raised for your recall campaign?
Liberty to disclose that at this point. But that's you know, I'm an open book. You know, that information's always been available. But I can't tell you.
You're gonna show us your tax return?
Okay.
Is your next rally
Alright.
shop?
I wanted to show you my tax returns for years. My opponents wouldn't let me.
Anybody auditing my class this morning?
Yeah.
Alright, there's another Annie, so we got two Annies. How will I ever tell them apart? I'll work it out. They shuffle at it. They're shuffling. Alright, we shall commence. Thanks, Wally.
Thank you, Bob. Bye, Mom.
Go stash your money in those offshore accounts, Paul.
Already done.
Already done, okay. We're good.
Yeah.
Offshore of Lake Como Lake, maybe. Oh. Oh, golly. going and sitting for a few minutes, but if your mind is anything like mine, it's gone quite a few places. So let's settle back into the body, sitting on the cushion, breath taking place. So that even when we say be aware of the body and the breath, you're really looking at your mind. It's the mind staying present with knowing the body and the breath. And of course it's going to wander off. Don't worry, it will come back. Just be back in the body, the breath again. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, saha viryankarvavai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om
Tasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaichakena yopa karatam pravanam muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Abahu purushakaram Shankachakrasidarinam Sahasrashir samsvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om.
Stand Tadasana. We're going to take a few standing poses, so if you want any drops to the side there, have those set up. So join the feet, or at least have them parallel. Wide toes, lengthening from as if the toes begin from the center arch, even as you ground through the heel. Rolling a little more toward the inner heel, outer arch, ankle lifted, outer leg drawn up and toward the bone. Don't try to push backward from your knee joints, just have a sense of engaging the front thigh, inner thigh, draw the bone up to its socket. Levelize the pelvis so you're not tipping forward or sagging back. Buttocks descending slightly from the pelvic rim to the sitting bones. Floating ribs ascending without pushing the spine forward. Just widen the back lower ribs from the spine across and ascend the inner space away from the hips. Then add the thoracic spine up into the base of the skull. Relax and widen the shoulders and collarbones. Externally rotate your arms, and then take them up to Urdhva Hastasana. Okay, I'm just going to kneel so you can see what I'd like you to do. You're still in Urdhva Hasta, but now clasp your elbows. So your arms, if possible, unless you have some shoulder issues you need to compensate for, are behind the ears. Okay, chin floating up, outer arm to the socket. And now, keeping the arms well back, widen the shoulder blades again, and then extend the arms. If you can do Urdhva Namaskar, in other words, if you can join the fingers without bending the elbows, take that. Chin floating. Remember the buttocks descend to the sit bone, pelvic rim down to the sit bone, floating ribs widening and ascending, not pushing forward. If you have any sort of a shoulder impingement, in fact, everybody try this. Take the wrists a little wider than your sockets. Okay? So your arms are a little wider, but rotate the deltoid, outer arm deltoid forward, but the inner arm back to the socket. As if you're turning your palms toward the wall behind you. And exhale, bring the arms back to Anjali Mudra. Then take the left leg to the right thigh for virassana, tree pose. If you're having a wobbly day, you can use a wall. It's usually better not to look at the screen because that pulls your awareness out of your pose. Stay inside. Buttocks down, floating ribs wide and ascend. Open collarbones. Then again, see if you can clasp the elbows above the head, at least for a breath or two, and then extend the arms. Or just take the arms up. That's also okay. Chin floating. Hopefully this tree is growing, it's alive. Keep that extra length and lift in the torso as you bring the palms back to Anjali Mudra. Wait there. And then lower the arms and leg back to Tadasana. And reset your base. Okay, now right foot on inner left thigh. If those of you who bring the heel quite high up, we tend to open the hip to create space, which is fine. So square off the pelvis again. Anjali Mudra palms. And again, clasp the elbows first. Chin floats up, and then extend the arms. Oops. Okay, keep that extra length in the torso spine, back to Anjali Mudra. And lower the arms and leg back to Tadasana. All right, take the legs apart, and we're going to break a rule. I want you to do Trikonasana to the left. Oh my God. Go Trikonasana to the left first. It is allowed.
That's just breaking a norm, William.
Oh, thank you, Cecily. I stand corrected. You gotta learn the difference between rules and norms. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm not going to be doing all the poses with you this morning, so some as we go along. Okay, step out to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, if you're very wobbly, you can use a wall. If you can do independent, do that. Or the back, either the back body against a wall or the raised foot on the wall, whatever you need, if you need that this morning. Make the upper leg longer and lift the entire length from the hip to the ankle. So the hip has a sense of ascending, and so does the ankle. Then step back into Parshva Konasana. Bend your arm, your left arm, and bring the palm behind your head. Point the elbow toward the ceiling. Open that armpit chest. Palm is behind the skull. Then from there, extend the arm. Inhale, breath lifts you out of the pose. Right leg out, left foot in. Take Trikonasana to the right. I actually was in the class when somebody asked Iyengar, why do we always go to the right first? And of course he got pissed off. Okay. And he said, yeah, he gave the explanation of extending the ascending colon first and all that. But then he actually said, but every now and then, start on the left. Do all your poses on the left first that day. Occasionally. He did not use the word norm, Cecily, but he said, it's okay. You will not go to hell. All right. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Standing, keep the standing foot pointed straight. The tendency is to turn it in a bit. So if you need the block farther behind your, outside the foot, then strong lift of the standing Tadasana thigh. Then lift the left hip and ankle. Make the leg longer. Even higher, Susan. Good. And everybody step back into Parshva Konasana. If you fall down, so what? Everybody falls down out of that pose. Okay, bend the elbow of the upper arm, take the palm behind the head, roll the armpit chest open, so the elbow's pointing toward the ceiling, and then extend the upper arm. Take that left shoulder blade in sharply to turn the chest. That's why it's called a blade. Sharpen it. Arm way back behind the ear. Unless you have neck issues, be careful. All right, deep inhalation lifts you up out of the pose. And turn forward and step back to Tadasana. Okay, Virabhadrasana 1, but take a block. I might need to adjust the camera here. This is the pose of the week, Suzanne. You're going to put your right foot up on a block for Warrior 1. So you should be able to get the knee over the heel, and you should be able to get a little more parallel to the floor with the right leg. Okay? The left heel can be a little outside the left sit bone. Okay? Bend the right leg, press down through the heel, and lift up out of the groins. Take the arms up and clasp the elbows. Bring the upper arms behind the ears. Pull the floating ribs up as you take the sit bones down and in slightly. Let the chin float and then extend the arms. Those of you who can take the head back and look up, do that. Otherwise, keep the head neutral. All right, bring the head back to neutral, lower the arms and step out of the pose on that side. Careful stepping off the block. And change sides. Left foot up on the block. Right leg back. Right heel can be a little outside the sit bone, but then turn the pelvis. Bend the front leg. The shin bone, though, of the left leg, hit it towards your calf muscle. Don't push the knee toward the toes. Hit the shin toward the calf. Then take the arms up, clasp the elbows, but with the odd arm on top. Take the head of the humerus back into the socket. Draw the floating ribs up, and then extend the arms. If you can't, don't worry about joining the hands, extend the arms. Now root to the right heel and pull the inner right thigh up and lift off that back leg, thigh, and groin. Head back if you can. But ascend the floating ribs, Betsy, come on. Ah. Find the in asana. Head neutral, arms down. Straighten the front leg, step off the block. All right, warrior two with the similar technique of the, oh, we went to the right first. I'm such a bad yoga teacher. Warrior two to the left first. We should have done warrior one to the left first. Oh well. So, warrior two, left foot on the block, virassana, and then knee over heel, shin hips toward the calf slightly, so you can get a little closer to getting the thigh parallel to the floor. This is where using the screen can be useful. Look towards your left arm. Now your torso tends to turn, so take the right side of the chest and abdomen a little bit back. Ah. Extend the arms as if they begin from your spine, rather than just the shoulder sockets. Spread the wings like those eagles down on the river road here in Minneapolis. Inhale, breath, come up. Change sides. Virabhadrasana 2 to the right side. Okay. Get the knee over the center heel. Extend the arms. Gently roll the chest a little from right to left. Extend the arms from the spinal column. Usually the back arm needs a little more mindfulness. This is a warrior pose. Look like a warrior. Okay, inhale, breath, come out of the pose, release. Step back to Tadasana. Take your yoga chair, and we're going to use the chair for Virabhadrasana 3. So I come to a right angle, my palms are on the edge of the chair, and I extend my, let's take the right leg up first. When you take your right leg up though, keep the internal rotation. So the big toe, the knee point toward the floor, don't let the hip roll up and out. Extend palms on the chair, fingers extended. Extend the right leg from groin to heel. Look up over the chair slightly. Tuck the buttock sit bones under and slightly contract the navel up toward the spine. Get your shoulders and your hips level. So Suzanne, levelize. Look up over the back of the chair. Navel up, Leah, toward the spine a bit, because you're supple in the lumbar. Ah. Now those of you who can, lighten the pressure of the hand on the chair.
Boy.
Maybe you'll float up, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll fall down and be filled with shame. Okay, come out of the pose. If you've never fallen down out of these balance poses, you're obviously not working hard enough. That's a silly thing to say, but who knows? Okay, second side. Virabhadrasana C, as Guruji used to call it. So extend the leg from groin to heel. Don't just lift the foot. Look up over the back of the chair. Tuck the buttocks, sit bones, but lift the navel toward the spine slightly. Tuck the sit bones in. Keep the arms shoulder width apart. Back leg, left leg is up now, I think.
Right leg.
Look over the back of the chair. If you can slightly float the hands, do that as best you can. Is the left knee pointing toward the floor? Or did you rotate the hip and thigh out? All right, step back down, go back to Tadasana. You might have noticed it's a standing pose class. There's only 48 standing poses. I don't think we'll do all of them. Yeah, Patty's favorite, I know. So, pascimotanasana next. If you can bring the palms to pascimotanasana behind the back. Otherwise, just clasp the forearms and elbows behind the back. And turn towards your right leg. Left leg, sorry, left leg. Ooh. Wait there. Now don't start the forward bend tilt in the pelvis yet. Create Tadasana in the pelvis. Then extending, finding the back. Those of you who are doing pascimotanasana, find the back bend that's just above your fingertips. Then look up slightly and pour yourself out over the right leg.
Left leg.
So the name of the posture, pascimotanasana. Parshva means the sides of the torso, from the hips through the armpit chest. That is what you're lengthening. Elbows up slightly, those of you who are in pascimotanasana. Now extend the armpit chest. Sorry, armpit chest. Release the hands and bring the fingertips to the floor. Come to concave spine, take a few breaths. And then turn to your left and twist into Parivrtta Trikonasana. If you need a block under that right hand, or you can put it on your shin if you don't have a block available. Roll the chest, roll the upper armpit up toward the ceiling, or use the hand against the wall, Dan. That's a good use of the hand. Head back. Now step out and up to Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. Just step up with the right arm and the back leg into revolve half loop. Yes. Again, lift the standing leg hip and twist. Step back into Parivrtta Trikonasana. Don't just slop your way through it. Semi-respectable. And grounding the back heel, inhale, breath, come up. Okay. So turning to the right, palms to pascimotanasana behind the back. If you can do that, or clasping the elbows. If you're clasping your arms, put the odd arm on top. Wait there, turn towards your right leg. Start with creating Tadasana in the pelvis. Don't do the forward bend tilt yet. Wait there. And create the back bend in the upper thoracic above the fingertips. Look up slightly, and then pour yourself out over the leg, extending the sides of the body, the parshva. Now the front leg hip tends to swing out, so pull it toward the back leg hip and twist your torso over the front leg, towards your Christmas tree. Not that far though, Eddie. I didn't mean that. Just in that direction. All right. Take the left hands, take the arms to the floor, wait there, and then extend and twist into Parivrtta Trikonasana. You can use a block, you can use your left hand on the right hand on the back of a chair and twist. Head back. Then step out to Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana.
Oh, really well.
You can use a block, you can use a chair. Extend the back leg from the groin to the heel to lift it up. Lengthen that leg. I wouldn't want to name names, Susan VF, but otherwise. I'll call you out. You should take that elbow, left arm to the chair, elbow to the chair. Drop down. Ah, there you go. Now head back. Don't forget to release the corners of the mouth up. Okay. Step back into Parivrtta Trikonasana. Little Mona Lisa Buddha smile. And inhale, breath, come up. Okay. Keep the legs wide apart and go to Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide stance, forward bend. I'm sorry, Susan. Prasarita.
Prasarita.
No? Yes? You told me once it was Prasarita.
Prasarita.
Maybe it wasn't you. It's Prasarita, right? Right, okay. Prasarita Padottanasana. Walk the hands back, do your forward bend. Wide stance, Victoria G. Yeah, there you go. Extend the fourth and fifth toe to activate the outer arch. And draw the outer leg up toward the bone, and the gluteus medius muscles at the side of the hips contract to make the hips compact into the socket. Have a sense of lifting the sit bones away from the pelvic ribs. Then, if you can, bring the hands to pascimotanasana. Otherwise, just stay where you are. A stronger pose. Or you can reach out and hold your calves or your ankles. A couple different variables here. Then, if you're fairly strong and you don't have any hip joint problems, see if you can stand up with the hands in pascimotanasana. Lengthen forward and come up. Release the arms, heel toe if you need to. Step or jump back into Tadasana. Okay. How about we take Adho Mukha Svanasana, down face dog. Have your wrists, Smadar, a little wider than your shoulder sockets, with the fingers turned out slightly. And yeah, Then from the wrist, outer wrist to the root of the arm, grip toward the bone. Wide collarbones and shoulder blades in downward dog. The more you take the head down, the more the shoulder blades will tend to sink and compress the neck. So keep opening that up. Eventually the head goes to the floor in this pose, for some people. And inevitably the arms are going to internally rotate. So you just keep correcting that. Keep correcting that. Untuck the chin a little. Some of you are blocking the throat. It's fine to take the head under and check out the feet and the legs and all of that, but don't keep the head there. And bend the knees, come down and rest. Okay. Sirsasana. If you're doing head balance, do that. Otherwise, take some form of head-supported forward bend. So Joy, if your friend doesn't do head balance, just have her do wide stance head support or, down dog head support. Maybe later you can show her how to hang from your sling. Thank you. So Leah, are your shins to the wall or your feet? Ah, okay. Oh, your feet are on the floor. Okay, that's cool. I'm just wondering. I like to pick up little tips, by watching you guys. Nice wide lift of the shoulder blades, throat relaxed. There's weight on the head, but you shouldn't feel like you're pushing the brain into the floor. Now it's a little longer hold if you're doing a head-supported forward bend. So if you need to come out and rest and then go into it again, that's fine. Okay, those of you who can maintain the pose, take Baddha Konasana legs. If you need to come down, you can at any time, or you can just keep the legs in the basic posture. Then the next variation is wide legs, upavista. Very active Tadasana, soles of your feet, outer hips sucking into the socket, navel back, tailbone up and in. The pelvis tends to tilt back too much. Move the sacrum up, Susan. You're tilting. Yeah, bring the legs toward the midline slightly. All right. There you go. Yes. Be careful of the shoulders though. Neck. Then extending groin to heel, spiral the legs back up to sirsasana. And then the breath takes you down out of the pose. Those of you who are in head balance, rest with the head down for a little bit. Be grateful for whatever you could do this morning. Okay, supta virassana. You're working hard this morning, Joy.
Hey, William.
Yeah, Betsy.
I got a question I've been thinking about, and working with. So in the supta virassana, my sits bones. So the play between like dropping them, grounding them, and then when they just fly up. And so I'm trying to find a balance between the two.
So you're asking about supta virasana.
Supta virasana.
Supta virasana, lying back, right?
Yeah.
So the issue is you feel like your sitting bones are floating up, or?
Yeah, sometimes they just fly up. And then so it's, it's like that extending out and pulling in and dropping down. It's
Okay. What you're working towards is to be as high up on the sacral plate toward the back of the pelvic room as possible.
okay.
Rather than the pelvis tilting toward the sit bones. So the sit bones may actually not be on the ground.
Okay.
The flesh will be, but you want to create a little more of what I mentioned in Tadasana, extending from the top of the buttock to the sit bone so that the back of the sacrum at the pelvic rim widens and releases toward the floor. Okay?
Okay.
And
Thank
that's
you.
actually generic. That's actually generic. In other words, you don't want to jam L5 S1.
Exactly.
It's another way of saying it.
Well,
Yes, Joy.
hi, William.
Hi, Joy.
How can I best help Courtney into this position? She needs more height to be able to go back.
She needs more height behind her. You have a chair?
Yes.
So you take the chair.
Stay there.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
I don't want
good.
her to move. Yeah.
Stay there.
Yeah, stay. Don't move.
Stay. Now you'll have to. I assume you're sitting on a block, Courtney.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you just scooch forward a little, and then just give her plenty of head support back there.
Ah.
You know, you don't have to go back that far.
Don't go too far.
Like, see, I added an extra folded blanket here.
Thank you.
Can you see what I'm doing, Joy? Yeah.
I try.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I can do that.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, as long as your forehead isn't tilted back, yeah. Looks good.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Of course. So Betsy, you want to be as high up on the sacrum and as low down on the back ribs at the same time. So you're not gripping and jamming T12L1. Wide floating ribs, wide sacrum. You don't have to grip the floating ribs toward the spine to open the upper chest. Widen the lower back ribs and the upper front ribs. Let them talk to each other. Yes. Okay, but Courtney, be careful because you might start to enjoy this pose and it will become habit forming. Don't come out of the pose. You can laugh in the pose and stay in the pose. Ask Joy about that. She's had a love-hate relationship with this pose. as we have all, probably. All right, everybody come up and out of supta virassana. Take your time. So, in the unbiased opinion of one of my primary teachers, Ramanand Patel, he encourages us to do some form of headstand every day, some form of shoulder stand, halasana, setubanda every day, some form of supta virassana every day, and then, of course, one of the most important poses that is often skipped is shavasana. Don't skip shavasana. Right? If you think you're too busy to do shavasana, you obviously need to do shavasana. Nobody's that important that they can't take 10 or 15 minutes to do shavasana. Notice I said 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't say 5 minutes. Keep in mind what Iyengar said. Shavasana begins after you release the effort and the fatigue from the practice. That's usually when we either fall asleep or get into drifting mind, or we get up. So when you get to the point where the body really feels rested from the dynamic poses, stay another 5 minutes. Use it as a meditation seat. In the early texts, the Hatha manuals, Shavasana was a meditation posture. It wasn't just relaxing after the workout. Okay, that's my wagging the finger homily for today. Because as we get older, the inversions are so beneficial for not just the cardiovascular, but the endocrine and the lymphatic circulation, which we need. Especially in the pandemic area. We need our lymphatic immune system to be healthy, strong. All right. Okay, shoulder stand. It's just one guy's opinion. Try it out, see if it works for you.
William, what would you recommend for Courtney in shoulder stand?
Well, have you ever done a shoulder stand, Courtney? No.
It's with blankets and then you're on your back.
Okay, assuming she probably doesn't have a lot of yoga props yet. Hint.
Correct,
Hint,
yeah.
hint.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming, you know.
Yes.
Santa is making a list, but I hear he's disinfecting it twice. Oh, sorry. Little Santa joke there. Have her start with Viparita Karani.
Okay, good.
Something simple that she can do, and then if she wants to learn with the blankets and the chairs later down the road, but just to get the legs up.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Have her put a belt around the thighs for her. Yeah, okay. Maybe some of you are so important you don't have time to do shavasana. I don't know. Got places to go, people to see. Well, actually, nowadays there's no place to go and you can't see anybody, so you probably have time for shavasana. Either that or just another episode on whatever you're binging on Netflix. You know, you have a choice. Talking about myself now. So, okay, AG, Annie, looking good. Take the legs just a little farther back, toward the back of the couch. Just, right there, nice. Now you have that nice vertical line, ankle over hips. Yeah. It often feels like they're slightly too far back. So from the grounding of the arms, engage the inner back muscles. So you have a sense of lifting up off the neck, the throat, and the upper chest. It's not a big movement. It can be energetic. You're not sinking into your neck or throat. Thank you, Joy. All right, now go to halasana without sinking into your throat or your neck. Keep the back body strong. If you need to go down one leg at a time, that's fine. So even in half halasana, Annie, keep that lift in your upper chest. Yeah, good, right. Good strong legs, yeah. Okay. All right, if you're wearing a belt, now would be the time to take that off. And roll out of the pose. And then the dog will say, "Why aren't you paying attention to me?" Sort of like the mind in meditation. Why aren't you paying attention to me? What a nice looking doggy, Annie. Okay, now, setubanda. I know you're in setubanda, Leah, but nothing wrong with 10 minutes in setubanda. If you want to do viparita karani, you can. You must have some neck issues. I notice you're not doing head and shoulder stands. And that's cool. Taking care of yourself.
Regular setubanda for Courtney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Are you charging a consultant's fee, Joy?
Yes, yes. She's
Okay,
baking 2 dozen chocolate chip gluten-free cookies for me.
Oh, nice. Okay. Everybody else just take regular setubanda. You shouldn't have said that, Joy. Now everybody's drooling on their yoga props. So the thing about setubanda, I mean, it's the third stage of the sarvangasana cycle, but it doesn't just open the intercostals, the chest and ribs, but there's a, right where the bend is, that's where your kidneys and your adrenals are. So consistent practice, and that's the caveat, abhyasa, consistent practice of this pose helps to, I love Mr. Iyengar's phraseology, keep the organs toned. So hopefully they're functioning at high capacity. Find your breath. So staying with the breath keeps you in the present moment, keeps you in the body. In these longer holds, there's more of a possibility you may drift. And let the refinement of the breath help you to refine the posture. How much energy do I put in this part of my body? Where do I need to stay firm, stable? Where do I need to let go a little? So Courtney, if you need to, the block can be on a flat lower setting. It doesn't need to be vertical. If you're a beginner, yeah, that's good enough. Okay. And then gradually come out of setubanda. Okay, sit in upavista konasana. And we're going to take a supported forward extension. You may use a chair with your forehead if you need that. You can easily go down to a block or a bolster or a stack of blankets, whatever is easy to get to. You shouldn't feel like you're contracting your heart center or your abdominal area to rest your head. Okay? The legs are just active enough so they're not tilted, they're grounded. The legs don't have to be super wide. Even a 45-degree angle for some people is plenty. If you're on a chair with your forehead, take your arms on top of the chair. So you rest your forehead. You don't want to smush your nose. And the forearms are resting above the head on the chair to release the neck and shoulders. Breathing into the side ribs and the back ribs. Feel how the diaphragm expands the lower back ribs like a bellows. Iyengar describes it like a bellows in light on pranayama, expanding out on the wide inflation of the inhale and then the release of the bellows on the exhale. Those of you who can go fairly far down or even to the floor, feel free to do that. Be a little toward the brows so you're not blocking your throat. Inhale breath, sitting up. Then pascimotanasana, both legs extended and head supported. Again, find a very easy height to start with. As you receive the pose, if you lengthen out and go down, that's good. Fine. Again, be a little toward the brows, so you're not blocking off the throat by tucking the chin in. Go to your comfortable capacity. Now there is a little compression in the belly, so a light intentional ujjayi breath, breathing the bellows-like expansion of the diaphragm, lower side back ribs, and release the diaphragm on the exhale. You don't have to push the air out. The release of the diaphragm releases the breath out. And go to shavasana. Take a moment, refreshing your mindfulness if you've drifted. Initially coming back to the feeling of the body resting on the floor, the feeling of the breath taking place. Go from doing to being, and yet you're still very awake and present with whatever is arising. That was a 12-minute shavasana, in case you were wondering. It's dedicating the merit gathered through our practice the lasting happiness and freedom from suffering for all beings everywhere. Don't forget, all beings includes you. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnapurnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vishishate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste. Was that fast enough, Suzanne?
That was fast.
Not as fast as Arsha Vidya. Okay, thank you everybody. Be well, stay happy, healthy.
Thank you, William. Thank you.
Enjoy those cookies, Joy.
Oh, I
Thanks, William.
will. Thank you, William.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you, Patrice.
Thank you so much.
Bye, William.
Goodbye.
Thank you, William.
See you.